Check, 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 chicka, chica, chicka, chicka. Oh, what? Oh shit! Wait, fuck. Oh no. Oh fuck. You guys can hear me, I think. Yeah, my bad. Fixing it. Still hear me, still hear me. Check, check, check.
Okay, hopefully. But I can't hear PJ if he is talking. Oh, I can hear that chair squeak in the background.
Hey, what the fuck? Yo, you can hear me?
Yeah, hello?
I can't hear the game.
But he's trying to find...
Oh, nice. Okay, we should do that. Wait. Okay,
okay, I'm just going to check whether they can hear me.
Yep.
Yep, I can.
And you can hear me? You can hear the game on stream?
Oh, I can hear everything.
Can you hear
I can hear everything just fine.
Squeaky ass chair.
That sounds like that chair needs replacing.
I know it is.
Honestly,
it is getting replaced for this Boxing Day. I think my mum might be buying me a new one.
Was that your...
Yep.
Oh dear, all I can say is that Brazil is going to be a blast if that is PJ's American accent, everybody. But anyway, that was a nice little... Oh dear, let's hope that doesn't get...
How you doing? How you doing? Boy?
Get clipped. I'm doing good, especially knowing that I'm on the grid today, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know and you're so confused, you're probably sitting there thinking, oh great, sick boy, he forgot to press spectator. Again, he never learns. He's going to have to DNF on lap 1 again. No, so as a nice little special, this is the final Tier 1 VFL race before the Christmas break. Round Jeddah, a relatively brand new track on the F1 2021 calendar. I thought, you know what, let's have a little bit of fun. I'm going to commentate qualifying. I'm going to start from the back of the grid, see how well as just a nice little challenge, how well I can kind of do from the back of the grid, see if my skills have left me since joining PJ in the commentary box. So yeah, that is why.
And who are you saying you're aiming for into turn 1?
Not at all. I'm not aiming for anybody in turn 1. I think I might go for the sick boy social race strategy of intentionally stalling the car for about 4 to 5 seconds at the start, because
yeah,
that's
what I do.
I don't want to. Yeah, literally. Honestly, I just don't want to lose my wing heading right into turn 1. So, yeah, I'm not looking forward to that. So hopefully I can get a good start, and hopefully you don't spend all of the race following my camera, following my car. I'm critiquing like every corner. It's like, sick boy, he's just missed the apex to turn 27.
6 out of 10, 4 out of 10, 7 out of 10.
Yeah, literally.
Just great every turn.
No,
we do have action underway here, and the first thing I want to note, since I've already seen a few examples of it on screen so far, is that this is going to be a tough track for folks to get out of other folks' way. Oh no!
5-place grid penalty between Taramax and Chico Martins, and they both of the drivers are, I believe, that is actually around the final turn 27, and Chico Martins has completely spun around Taramax. I'm not too sure if he was on a out lap. I believe Chico was on a flying lap, which is heartbreaking, because if that is true and Chico was on a flying lap and Taramax was on an out lap and Chico got the grid penalty, that doesn't add up to me. That doesn't seem like it's kind of the right way around.
Yeah, quality grid place penalties are just the worst.
They're heartbreaking.
They're almost
because
never fair.
No, exactly. Oh yeah?
Wait. Can you guys still hear me? Type it. Otis said he can hear this. Type in the Discord if y'all can still hear us.
I'm just going to check myself. Oh, wait, hang on. Oh, I can't even select that. Yes, I can hear. The Jarl can still hear us. So, I can still hear you. That's Oda. I think his stream, coming all the way from Saudi Arabia, is glitching out a little bit, maybe. But, whilst PJ figures out any technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen, Luke J. Gilly 004 is continuing to impress. We're already almost 6 minutes in to this qualifying session, and he's just topped the table with a 128.2, as Cole was epic. Actually, pops a 128.4 just behind, and that gets him a provisional space on the front row. But qualifying has just begun, and I am sure those times will tumble, because, oh, hang on, ladies and gentlemen, Chico Martins 02 has just received another 5-place grid penalty, this time for contact with Dark Inferno, and I believe that was coming into the pit lane, as both drivers are in the pits right now. So that's now a 10-place grid penalty for Chico Martins 02, which is absolutely heartbreaking, because the time penalties, ladies and gentlemen, are ridiculously unfair at times, and I believe that was just probably a small knot coming into the pits and completely blown, honestly, completely blown Chico Martins qualifying out the window. However, I think it is time to mention the Sick Boys Super Lap for Jeddah today, and ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to lie, I'm pretty pleased with this one. I ended up popping, obviously, as always with the Sick Boys Super Lap, I go into an 18-minute qualifying with the AI, with, soft tyres, with all the wear and everything. I don't do it in time trial, because time trial times are so artificial. You can minus a couple tenths of a second just by being in time trial. But regardless, I managed to pop a 126.945 around Jeddah, and it will be extremely interesting to see if any driver can beat that. But I've been very confident with my Sick Boys Super Laps before in the past. I remember round 1, Silverstone, I was like, no one's going to beat the Sick Boys Super Lap, and then Robert DS clears it by 0.2 of a second. So I'm sure that drivers will get near it and probably even beat it today, ladies and gentlemen, as we're almost 6 minutes, in fact, we're almost 8 minutes into qualifying, and we still have Robert DS yet to set a lap time. It'll also be very interesting as well whether any driver pairings are going to decide to go for a slipstream. As I quickly pull up the track map right now, doesn't seem like any drivers are going for a slipstream and are going around the track 2x2 just now, but we're fairly, this is quite not a lot of time. I've completely forgotten how to speak English, ladies and gentlemen. We're not that far into, that's what I meant to say, we're not that far into qualifying. We're about halfway through, but no drivers are going for a slipstream. And if no drivers do decide to go for a slipstream, that will be quite detrimental, because even though it's a very tight track, there's, it's almost like Monaco in Sector 1, and as we've seen, a lot of contact between drivers and a lot of traffic on track. There's also that massive long straight with no DRS from turn 17 to 21, and that's a 0.3 of a second toe that I managed to produce. I managed to cut down 0.3 of a second just by going behind an AI driver, and that isn't even a proper slipstream, so I'm sure they could probably even squeeze even more time out of that. But that's 0.3 of a second if they want to perform a slipstream all the way from turn 17 all the way down to turn 21. So turn 17 is just coming out of this really fast left-right chicane that Robert DS is actually going around right now. I don't think you can actually see it on PJ's screen, but you go onto this kind of zigzaggy, curved straight all the way up to the final chicane of turn 21 and 22. But also there is another spot that I would recommend going for a DRS or at least a slipstream, and that is probably the final DRS. So Robert DS, is on the final straight right now, and yeah, so it's the final straight heading into the final turn, turn 27. And I would also recommend going for a slipstream there. That cuts down about 0.2 of a second. But I wouldn't recommend going for a slipstream on the start-finish line, because the start-finish straight is not that long, and the start-finish line is right bang in the middle of that straight. So it doesn't really benefit an outlap, and it really doesn't benefit the end of your lap either. So that's me kind of rambling on about slipstreams and times and sick boy super laps. Is PJ there, or have you been experiencing some? That's fine. I'm surprised you were just kind of sitting back and listening to the ramblings of a madman.
I didn't know when to jump in. I just let you go. That's fine.
That's absolutely fine, to be fair. I mean, who have you kind of been following? Dark Inferno just sets a new pole time of a 1:28.112.
Yeah, I've been on board with Robert's lap, which got him into P6 at 1:28.8, and now just finished watching Dark go on to pole, and I'm hopping on Connor Kidd in the Alfa Romeo as he sets his first flying lap.
Yeah,
seems to be so smooth so far.
Yeah, so really smooth through turn 1 and 2, actually. He hugs the apex of the turns extremely well. Now, he cuts a bit of turn, I believe that's turn 3, and that is what you should be doing. It's a turn that actually track limits aren't enforced that much. He seems to hit this first sector quite well, although it is a little bit slow through the first sector, but I'm not going to judge because
I don't think he's pushing all out right now. It seems like he's taking these turns pretty safely to make sure that he gets a decent lap forward as he taps the wall there. Shouldn't impact his time too much.
Yeah, but you're exactly right. I think on a track like Jeddah, in which, going over one curve just a tiny bit too quickly will end up in a DNF, you really want to go for a banker lap this early on, and I think that's what Dark Inferno did. He set like a 1:52 at the start of the session. He's obviously at the top now, but yeah, I think that's what Connor Kidd might be going for, but
yeah,
even
he
so,
is cruising. I said that he wasn't taking those Sector 1 turns as quick as he could, and he did have that wall tap in Sector 2, so he may not be able to challenge for pole, but this Sector 3 was very strong from him. We'll see where he comes across the line now.
It could just be a case of a low downforce setup, and he comes across the line in P5, ladies and gentlemen, a 1:28.426, and that is extremely close to Cole was epic in P4, only 15 milliseconds.
Alright, I am now riding on board with Mr. Terramax. We all know the storyline of the Ferrari driver this season, and this track is not an easy one if you are not comfortable on whatever device you are steering. So we're going to ride on board for Terramax's hopefully first hot lap and see where he ends. Last race he did have his best qualifying performance. I can't quite remember where it was. It was somewhere in the midfield. So things definitely improving. Terramax starting to feel out the wheel a bit more. And through Sector 1,
unfortunately, he's invalidated. Yeah. Oh, it's so tough on the exit of that corner because you want to get as close to that white line as possible, obviously. If you get that turn wrong, you're suffering all the way down the straight to that banked hairpin. And it just seemed like he was pushing a little bit too much. He got a bit of a snap of oversteer outside turn 2 as well, but so far it looks like the wheel is definitely benefiting Terramax. This is a wheel user's track.
Dark improves pole position, going to 1:27.854.
Yeah, exactly. I'm actually following Carper99. Oh, damn, he's invalidated. I'm just trying to find kind of the best driver to follow. It could even be Connor Kidd. Let's see if he dives into the pits or whether he goes for another flying lap. It would be very interesting to see. He does dive into the pits.
Yeah, there's not a lot of time to get your flying lap in, and guys like Terramax, who will be coming across the line now, although I expect, Terramax will go into the pit for one last tire change. Whoa! I don't know. He came into the pit flying. I didn't know you could do that.
Oh yeah, so on qualifying, on qualifying, I don't think they enforce the limits too much. Jules F1's just dived into the pits, and I think we've kind of reached this awkward stage of qualifying, PJ, in which everyone's diving into the pits with 3 minutes to go to try and get that flying lap right at the very end. But unlike real life, the track doesn't rubber in like it does in real life. So on this game, I have no idea really why everyone goes for a flying lap right at the very end, especially on Jeddah. It's a tight track, so if everyone comes out right at the very end, you can see a lot of traffic, and that will definitely cause a lot of laps to be kind of abandoned, and also a lot of fights in the Discord chat, ladies and gentlemen. And I know that PJ gets off to fights, so I'm sure PJ enjoys his fights. So.
What? Yeah,
oh, what? Yeah, I'm of course, I'm using a bit of the old British slang. What did I say? And what did you think?
We'll move on here.
I was like, PJ gets off to his fights. No, it's PJ enjoys the fights in the Discord chat, but I don't think you do when it all kind of kicks off after a bit of drama.
Yeah, I don't know. We do just have, how many minutes? Like 2.5, 3? I can't see the board right now, but that is...
Yeah, I can't because of a yellow flag in Sector 3, because Dark Inferno has gone off the runoff at the end.
Yeah, that always happens with people pulling out. And we'll see, Dark, is he... Yeah, he's headed into the pits. He's out of fuel.
Yeah, he's run out of fuel. Yeah, I just caught points at the time. 2 minutes left.
2 minutes?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh no.
It's going to be tight.
That is going to be very tight. I'm on board here with Cole. Was epic. He's having an incredible season so far, to be honest. P4 in Jeddah, that's a good spot for him. Where is he going to come across this line on this lap?
Yeah, so he's 0.05 of a second up from his previous lap time. It will be interesting to see if he can improve that anymore, but actually he ends up losing quite a bit of time. He's almost 7 hundredths of a second slower than his last final time, so a bit of an unfortunate situation for Cole's
caught Poppy invalidating on that same Sector 1 turn that we saw Terramax invalidate on. It is a tricky one, especially just because that Sector 1 track limits is a bit inconsistent, and you really just sort of have to practice with it in order to figure out which lines you have to pay attention to.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're so right when you say that it's inconsistent. I've been putting so many hours into Jeddah on time trial, and I found like right there, I was just watching Robert DS. Unfortunately, he's invalidated his lap now, but he ran wide on the exit of, I think, turn 5, turn 6, and he didn't invalidate his lap.
I gotta let you know that the Red Bull of Pitt has crashed into the wall. He's lost his wings, so that will be the end of his qualifying session. 50 seconds left to go. Terramax is coming across the line. He has one last shot to get a time in the board. Can he do it?
Yeah, real quick, I'm actually quite worried about Robert DS. He's all the way down in P8, and there's only about 45 seconds left in qualifying, and he's still only about halfway through Sector 2, so let's see if he can beat the clock and start his flying lap before... In fact, there's about 25 seconds left. I think Robert DS is a bit too little too late right now, ladies and gentlemen, and that will be his worst qualifying start, I think, in his VFL career so far. Oh, hang on, Tom Taylor was on a flying lap, and just going round the first sector has completely lost it and has pinned his car around that double apex right-hander, and that is unfortunate for Tom Taylor. His qualifying has ended.
Dark is not able to get another lap in. The checkered flag is out. Terramax has made it through Sector 2 on a halfway decent lap from what I can tell. Most importantly, no invalidation, so he is on track to get a time up on the board. It's just a matter of where it will be and if he's about to run into any heavy traffic or incidents here through the end of Sector 3. It looks to be all clear, but he's got 2 cars ahead of him.
Dear. I think the driver to watch right now is Robert DS. He did actually beat the clock and started his lap time. He must have only had about 1 second left. And he's actually 1/10 up on his flying lap time, but he just knocked the wall on the exit of that hairpin. I think it's turn 9. And he's he's given his wing a bit of a clout. Let's hope it doesn't slow him down.
Terramax hops into P7. That is his best qualifying session of the season. We'll ride on board with Robert for the end of his lap. You take us through what you see here.
Real quick, Chico Martins is 2.5 tenths of a second up on his last flying lap, but he he is 2.5 tenths of a second up, but for some reason it doesn't add because of his grid penalty, I believe. It doesn't add. That is very strange. Anyway, I think the driver to watch right now, Robert Diaz, the final one to cross the line. He's almost 2 tenths of a second up on his previous outing. So let's see whether he can improve. It was pretty strong around that final corner.
I think he will. It's just a matter of how much. He's in P9 now. He just goes
P7.
to P7. And I will say that Robert Diaz is not one that has to rely on qualifying position. He can make it up in race pace and strategy. So do not think for a second that Robert Diaz is out of contention for this race. Sick boy.
I just realised.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, sorry to butt in, but Dark Inferno's got a 5-place grid penalty.
Oh.
I'm not too sure why. Yeah, as you can see when it pops up on the screen, Taramax has got 5 place, and Chico Martinzo too has got a 10-place grid penalty. So Luke J. Gilly is starting from pole position here in Jeddah with Mirko 69.96 alongside him on the front row, and then that will be Steph and Cole was Epic on the second row, and then Dark Inferno is actually going to start alongside Connor Kid on the front row. He's going to start in P6. Then we have Robert Diaz, Taramax, Poppy, Tom Taylor, Entui Pachulo, Luke, Chico Martins, Carper 99, and the rest of the pack. Who cares? But what were you going to say before that? But yeah, it just kind of popped up and I just noticed it. I was like, what? I never saw that kind of pop up during qualifying. I was quite shocked, in all honesty.
I was going to thank you for joining us for the quality session and wish you good luck on the rest of this race. It is now nighttime in Jeddah. It is now race time in Jeddah. Sick boy, you will be starting from the back of the grid. How do you feel?
Quite nervous. I'm not going to lie, PJ. I haven't raced in VFL for such a long time. I just need to see. I've written down what fuel I was going to use, so I need to quickly see our merch. There we go. Wow, that is quite a low amount of fuel that I'm going to use, but it's a big risk, but who cares? Even so, thanks for wishing me luck, and I guess it's time for me to leave and leave you to the commentary job alone, just like it was in Season 1.
Absolutely, man. Good luck. The cameras will be on you. I'm excited for it, and I'll talk to you perhaps after the race.
Absolutely.
Formation lap is underway, and it is just now little old me, PJK OTR, say it like Peugeoter, here coming at you live from a small little apartment in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, racing in Jeddah at night. Beautiful track. I love the shit out of this track. Honestly, I love driving it. I think it's one of the most fun time trial tracks. I believe we have a doozy in store for us today. Welcome, 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 welcome. It is VFL Season 2, Race 5, as I said, in Jeddah. We have a bit of an adjusted starting grid, as I believe there are almost 3 5-place penalties. So our pole sitter Dark starting right in front of his teammate Robert Diaz in P6 and P7. Luke J. Gilly starting on pole. Mirko rounding out this first row. Steph and Cole on the second row. As our drivers make their way around the track for our formation lap. It feels a little lonely. Once someone leaves, it does feel a little more lonely. I'll admit it. I'm excited. Poppy, the reserve Tier 2 Ferrari driver, stepping up to the big leagues once again for Tier 1. Very excited for him, see what he can do right now. He is accidentally in front of Robert. Should work itself out as they align on the grid. Ooh, wow. Is Aston Martin the only team with a crypto sponsor? Did they just get that for the Overtake Awards? That'd be a bummer. Oh, dude, sick boy! Okay, sick boy just lost his tires and crashed into Chico Martins. Those two, thankfully, did make most of the way around the track, so their tires should be still relatively warm. Regardless, we are nearly set. Who are we waiting for here? believe it is Sir Oda. We are set here in Jeddah, Virtual Formula League 5 lights, and away we go. Who's going to get the lead into turn 1? It is a tight turn 1. Mirko will look to go on the inside, and I believe he's going to take P1 over Luke J. Gilly. Luke, he's going to fight for it back, and they're going wheel by wheel out of turn 2. Steph holds P3, same with Cole and Dark in P4. And let me get the position changes up. Who are our big losers? Oh no, Robert has dropped to the back of the grid. No idea what happened to him. Couldn't catch it, but he is in the back. It doesn't seem like he has any wing damage. But he has taken a 13-spot tumble. As you can see, a lot of the midfield dropped down to the bottom, and that bottom half got booted up into the midfield. Up at the top, mostly positions hold. Dark was able to gain a spot up into P5, Poppy in Ferrari chasing down Connor the Kid now. And right now the two Haas drivers are the closest on track. But I believe we will need some time here for drivers to space out, activate DRS until things get a little spicy. Mirko already getting nearly a second lead on Luke in P2. Steph right on the back of Luke J. Gilly. And Sick Boy is making a move up on Chills. I'm going to run down to the Haas brothers because they are wheel to back end. And Oda has to let go and leave Sky. Sick Boy still battling with Chills and Car Park here. And he's going to pull out ahead of them. He should be able to hold it. Meanwhile, up at the top, Steph has got in P2 over Luke. Oh boy, the Haas driver is still going back and forth. It is a tough one to keep track of so far since everyone is stuck together. And Luke had to drop into the pits and he'll receive a pit lane penalty when he does so. Dark somehow makes the move around Cole. I feel like everybody's making moves that I cannot catch. Oh, can I catch Oda on Darsan here? He's about 2/10 behind going into a short little straight, which leads into a banked nearly 180, and he goes on the inside. He almost goes for it, but Darsan closes the door just as Oda backs out. Good driving from both of them to battle and do it without contact. Meanwhile, Connor Kidd, he's just a 10th back on Cole. We are getting to the end of lap 2 when things will get a little more exciting. Seeing quite a few gaps here, which should make things interesting. Tom Taylor has a whole second to pit with Terramax around a second behind him, so it'll be interesting to see if Terramax can keep close for the first DRS. Meanwhile, Connor Kidd's still just about a 10th back on Cole. Does he make any move here? Don't think it's worth it. He'll stay back at P6. Oh no, he actually gets a much better exit and will end up going wheel to wheel with Cole, and he'll have the pace increase by a decent amount. He's going to move up to P5 into turn 1. Is Dark going for an inside move on Luke? No, he's not. Seems like he may have been lining it up now. We had our fair share of bullshit in the qualifying session, but overall I think drivers did do a good job of keeping things clean as best they can. Obviously there are a few incidents, but there are a few incidents at every track, and I was a little nervous about Jeddah. Here goes Cole. He's a 10th back from Connor the Kid, who's stranded without DRS. Does he have enough pace to make a move up on the inside? No, he doesn't. He holds back. And meanwhile, I've just noticed Sick Boy is 17 seconds out from Robert in P17. Let me see if... Yes, Sick Boy did have to stop. I'm not sure. It may have been damage from the formation lap. Nope, I take that back because damage is off in the formation lap. But I'm not sure what caused him to stop. Regardless, Steph is stranded here without DRS. Can Luke J. Gilly make a move? Dark right on the back of the McLaren as well, and he's hungry. Certainly going to be a go before the lap ends, I can tell you that. Here goes Luke on the outside of Steph. Here goes Dark on the outside of Steph. Does Steph have any response? Yes, he goes on the inside of both of them. Can he close this off? He's going to play it clean and get the inside, but manages to just get back Dark. Luke will hold P2. Can Dark now respond with a move on Steph on the inside going into turn 1? Yes, he can. There's moves going on down at the bottom, but I'm watching up here. There's also right behind them Steph fighting against Dark Inferno. Luke got the P2 spot back going into turn 1, and Dark will hold P3. Big battles going on in the top 5. You can see Oda has made up the most spots with 6. He's in P12. Darsan has made up 5. He's in P10. Oh, Terramax going on Oda right now. They go off the track. Not sure who caused what, but it looks like Oda's going to have a move on the inside going into this bank turn. That's a tough one to pull off, but he does so nicely. Terramax will fall in behind at P12. And where else is the action? Dark just 2 tenths back from Luke J. Gilly, and Mirko is in a race by himself, 2 seconds ahead of the group. A fantastic start from him, and unless he makes a mistake, this is his race to win. Already a decent amount of corner cutting penalties coming in. Dark will make the pass on Luke early on in the straight with that DRS. Steph is going to catch up to the both of them. Dark has got to be able to hold this spot, I would imagine, but now Luke has DRS on him, and he is susceptible to a turn 1 move. I see Chills making a move on Terramax. Terramax fighting for it, going back on the inside. Last turn, coming out wheel by wheel, and Terramax will get the DRS, so I'd expect he'll have the lead going into turn 1. Meanwhile, Dark and Luke battling side by side into turn 1. Luke will pull ahead for now. Connor Kidd picked up some penalties as well, but Dark is battling in this very tight Sector 1. He manages to go on the inside and keeps it clean. Luke putting up a great fight in the McLaren. Dark has to reserve to P2, and now Steph sees a window, tries to stick his wheel in, but Dark will hang on and have to defend. Who's that coming on this side of Steph? It's Connor the Kid and Alfa Romeo with the DRS. He's going to go on the inside into this bank turn. Can he take both of them? No, but Steph will fall behind the Alfa Romeo. They're going wheel by wheel. Dark hits the wall. And now Connor the Kid and Dark are going side by side. The Alfa Romeo driver pulls ahead into P3 with a move from Connor. Both of them are sliding. Connor slides into the wall. Steph, he's out. I think I saw Dark or Steph sliding as well, but the main one is Connor, who flies into the wall. VSC is brought out, and Cole was epic, sneaks in there to get P3. Woo! And a VSC in lap 5 will allow me to catch my breath and try to recap what we've seen so far. Mirko has pulled away handedly, 3.5 seconds. Luke behind him. Cole now 2.5 seconds behind the McLaren. So Luke, oh, and Dark pulls into the pits. I don't think that's a result of damage. I think both he and Steph are just getting rid of these softs under the virtual safety car. Oda gets a penalty coming into the pit. And let's check on our tires. So far, P1 to P7, all on those first softs. We're back to racing here, by the way. No DRS yet. Poppy has now moved up to P4, and with that handful of drivers at the top taking their first stop, things are a little bit harder to check. You can see 4 more drivers into the pits down at the bottom. Chills records a 3-second penalty, and man, if you didn't practice this track, you are going to get whooped by these track limits. They are tricky to get a hang of and predict. Cole already pulling within a second of Luke J. Gilly. I'm not exactly sure how that happened. And Chill's picking up another penalty. How many pens does he have? Oh my gosh, this is a massacre on the grid in terms of penalties. 9 seconds for Chills, 11 seconds for Chico Martins. Darsan's got a drive through. Dear, oh dear. Meanwhile, Cole is 4 tenths back from Luke J. Gilly. That should be plenty of opportunity to make a pass going into turn 1. Although I say that, Luke has been battling with Dark Inferno several laps going into this turn. Nowhere near the speed to get a move on this time around. Was wrong in that regard. Positions will hold. And just more penalties rolling in. This is ugly. And you can already predict. Oh dear, I didn't even realize Dark was battling Sky. Sky just took him on the outside of turn 1, inside of turn 2. Dark, he loves battling through this section. I think he has a lot of confidence, more than most on the grid. Sky, I don't believe he was forced off. I think Dark just got around him quickly and fairly there. Dark will move up to P8 on those fresh tires. But as I was saying, gotta think that whoever wins this race is going to be a penalty-free driver, since already about half the grid racking up penalties. Man, Terramax gets 3 seconds. This, I mean, never seen anything like this. 7 laps in. Oh my god, Chills is at 24 seconds. He may get disqualified by the end of the race. So I don't know if we've ever had anyone get DQ'd for too many penalties. Meanwhile, up in P3, a battle for P2. Luke trying to hold off Cole. Last time he was about 4 tenths. Now it's down to 3 tenths. Meanwhile, Dark, he's trying to make a move on Underboss, and Underboss gets past Dark on those fresh mediums with the DRS. Underboss won't have much of a battle. Meanwhile, speaking of battles, here goes Cole down the inside with Poppy spying the back of the McLaren. Connor picking up penalties in the background, and Cole will get P2. A nice and easy move for the Aston Martin driver. He's got 4.2 seconds until Marco. Oda and Steph battling. Oda gets the slipstream as well as Sick Boy. Is Sick Boy going to move on Oda? He may try for the cutback here on turn 2. No, Oda handles those first 2 turns very well. Doesn't leave any opportunity for Sick Boy, and you can just see the incredible DRS disadvantage that someone like Steph has without any slipstream in front of him. Those 2 cars just flew by him with ease. Nothing he can do. Steph picks up penalties. Oh no, no Steph special today. Sick Boy right on the back of Oda. He's going to make a move on the outside. Meanwhile, Terramax, more penalties. Sick Boy will move up to P11. Can he hold it? Oda trying to battle on the inside. They're going to come out about wheel to wheel, but I believe Sick Boy will fly away here. Yes, he gets the better exit. And we'll see if Oda can keep up with the Season 1 champion. A bit of a mess. I sort of want to change away from penalties so I don't embarrass everyone here, but even when I'm showing tires, you can see how many penalties there are. Oh no, Chill's got more. Sick Boy slips on the exit there, and that will allow Oda to make an easy pass on the outside with that DRS. They've got about 1.5 seconds until Darsan, who's still yet to pit. Or he might have actually pit on lap 1. He's on 7 lap sauce. Oda does catch up to Darsan. He'll get the DRS. Who else is making moves? You can see how much of a gap there is between the packs of drivers on this one. And again, I think that sort of is because if you do not have DRS, your pace and lap time just falls off and you have no chance of catching up to the pack ahead of you. Will be interesting to see if anyone can make any semblance of a run up at Mirko, who is, again, in a race of his own. Meanwhile, Connor Kidd and Terramax are battling. I'm going to switch over here. Connor Kidd receives 3-second penalties. Just as I say that, Tom gets in front of Pitt. Terramax passes Connor here. Can Connor make any response? I don't believe it will be anytime soon. Man, this is a doozy of a race to keep track of. I'm hopping around non-stop. I think Dark might have just flown by. Cole was epic. Did he just get by Luke? Yes, he did right before the last turn. He'll have to defend on the pit lane straight now. I'm going to have to just understand that I'm not going to catch every move and do my best. Cole and Luke going into the pits. Poppy will cruise past to take P2. Mirko's still in P1, yet to pit. Dark is in a very strong position right now as a safety car gets brought out. Oh dear. And what happened there? We had a retirement from Car Park, and just as I say that Dark was in a strong place, he's going to have to remove his 3-lap mediums. He'll put on fresh ones. but really an unfortunate safety car for Dark, which will allow everyone ahead of him to get in that free pit stop. And obviously the big implication for P1, who had a 6-second lead, he is now going to have to build that back up on his own. Poppy will be right on the back of Mirko. And I believe these front three will be pitting though. I don't know, I'm going to have to wait and see. Underboss up in P6. He's on 9-lap old mediums. He started this race on those tires, I believe. He's probably not too happy about these early safety cars, which do benefit the folks that started on softs. We have Sky going on hards. And that's about it. Pretty much everyone else putting on new mediums. This may be a long safety car, folks. Mirko does go into the pit. Poppy does go into the pit. Tom Taylor does go into the pit. And we will see where they come out. Mirko is probably going to be able to retain his position. What? Mirko gets 5 seconds. Mirko gets 3 seconds. What is going on? What is going on? Mirko, what? Whoa. Mirko, the race leader, is disqualified from the session. Poppy gets a 5-second penalty. And, I mean, what can you say? I mean, this race is as big of a mess as MF Underboss's dad's car. That thing is a complete pit. He hasn't cleaned it in at least half a year. And I didn't think I would see anything quite as disgusting until I saw this race with nearly a whole grid full of penalties. A race leader disqualified. Whoa. I can't even keep up with the drama. There's so many people pissed at so many people. So far, let's give a shout out to the drivers who have stayed clean this race. Pitt in the Red Bull, Darsan in the AlphaTauri, even though I believe he did have a drive-through penalty that has been served. Dark, no penalties, good for him. He's back in P13 though. Oh boy, and he's stuck behind Sick Boy. I'm sure he's not too excited about that. MF Underboss's dad's car is a 2006 Acura, and he has an assortment of empty Cheetos bags and half-eaten Doritos bags in his car. The two McLarens up in P3, P4, with the Aston Martin of Cola's Epic in race lead, following that little unofficial teammate of his. Actually, is that the Mercedes safety car? I know they raced Aston Martin one in real life, Jeddah, but I feel like they always do Mercedes. I should know this. No, that's an Aston Martin. I honestly didn't know if they had added the Aston Martin safety car to the game. And we will probably have one more full lap around this goddamn circuit. Ooh, that's a cool shot. pretty much everyone on mediums except for the Red Bull of Underboss, who is on softs, trying to compensate for that complex he got from years of verbal abuse from his dad. Ever since, always trying to be different and special to make him proud. Hopefully, he is indeed now, as Underboss in P5, Robert back in P6 with 4-lap mediums. I mean, I'm talking, but I don't know what good my commentary is doing for this race. I don't know, like, in the first 5 drivers, there's nearly 30 seconds of penalties. Wait. Why is Chills going into the pits over and over? Oh my god. Okay, so Dark used to be the one to generate penalties. I mean, do we have to wait for Chills? I thought this was going to be one of the best races. But I was wrong. Wait, yeah. I have been alerted to something. It's a good note. Oda have not given him a shot. I thought he had penalties. He might have served them. But the Haas driver currently racing with no penalties to his name. And all the other lot on the grid, please just try to watch this race back, other races. Just watch how Oda drives. That's sort of the standard we're hoping to set for this league. 13 laps around Jeddah, and this man is penalty free. That's how you do it. We are back to racing. Who am I on board with? Steph making a move down the inside of Pit. Will he be able to pull this off ahead of him? Robert going for a move on the inside of Connor. We can watch both at the same time. Connor and Connor going side by side. My mouth is falling over itself. Steph does get the move off on the Red Bull. Robert does get the move off on Connor. And Underboss, the one with soft tires, hoping to make a move on this McLaren like his dad made a move out of the household. Can he do it on the inside? No. Can he do it on the outside? No. Good defensive driving from Tom, but he surely is under attack from these quick softs of the Red Bull. And man, you can tell how much pace he has coming out of the corners. Meanwhile, Chills gets another penalty. I'm unsure how he hasn't been DQ'd yet by the AI, but he's got to be on an edge. He might have gone into the pits to serve his penalties is what I'm realizing. Dark making a move on Darsan. Good stuff from him. He is just 8/10ths back from the Red Bull ahead. And I can't believe Marco. Oh, look at that move from Underboss. He sends it on the inside going on that last turn. And now he'll hope to get right in front of McLaren. Yikes, you can hear the contact. Tom Taylor's surely going to have a go down the inside. And look at all these drivers lining up moves. Tom will take the inside. Meanwhile, as Robert, he's trying to eye the leftovers of this battle. See if he can sneak in there. Nothing going yet, but he is very close behind his. The McLaren and Red Bull continue to drive side by side through Sector 1. Underboss picks up 3-second penalties. They're still battling. When will this end? Oh, the McLaren does pull ahead, but clips a wall on its exit. Underboss will pull ahead. And I thought Robert would have a chance to get past him when that happened, but no, just more penalties. Just an unbelievable amount of penalties that are, quite frankly, impossible to keep track of or really even pay attention to anymore. Whoa! Jesus, Darsan going for a move on Pitt. Tom Taylor hoping to get back on Underboss. He's less than a tenth behind him. These two have been battling all of lap 15. And Underboss goes nicer into that turn. Meanwhile, Dark making a move on Connor, and now Steph, he's side by side on Robert. Man, it may be a shit show of a race, but it is some good racing regardless. Look at Robert swerving, trying to defend Steph from making a move. He will do so successfully. DRS is back on. Cole was Epic is already in a second lead from Poppy in P1. Underboss 3 seconds back from Luke J. Gilly. And that means that Underboss will be the one under attack from P5 and P6 and maybe even P7. Is Robert and Steph have just been waiting behind these two cars, hoping for some mistake to let them through. Dark right on the back of Steph now. Quite a trio of the OGs of BFL we see racing here. Robert, Steph, and Dark. And speaking of OGs, the Season 1 champion Sick Boy yet to make up any substantial ground he has, but oh no, Dark loses it, jeez. You could tell his tires were just on ice coming out of that exit. Thankfully, he didn't completely. I would expect maybe some yellow. Yeah, and you can see he's struggling through these corners. He will have to pit. Dark is not going to be happy about this. Dark was throwing around the threats of perma bans like freaking water balloons in the admin chat before this race. So if you were on the wrong side of an interaction with that driver, I would cross your fingers. Poppy making the move on the pit lane straight. He gets P2 over Luke J. Gilly. Can anyone else make a move going into turn 1? Yes, Robert does. Oh my gosh, he's going to send it on the inside of Underboss as well. They go 3 wide. Shades of Ocon, Lewis, and Max there as Robert pulls ahead. Tom Taylor and Underboss back to battling side by side. What else is new? Dark did not pit. Chills more penalties. Underboss pulls out ahead. And Tom Taylor, did he spin out there? I think he did. I'm not sure if there was significant contact. Speaking of, Dark running up into the back of Steph. Man alive, I've not had a chance to drink some water yet. Ah, that's true. There are safety cars. I coulda drank water. I forgot. But I sure won't now. Underboss, he's just 5 tenths back from Robert on fresher tires. But Robert, the Season 2 Drivers' Championship leader as it stands, it will take a lot to keep up with his pace. And I'm surprised that Dark is still racing and still keeping up. We saw Lewis incur damage on his front wing in Jeddah and still set fastest laps and outpace Max in real life, but that is not the way this game works. If you get any bit of damage, you are a bit screwed. Speaking of, look at Underboss sending on the outside on Robert, and Robert gets into a bit of extra tussle with Steph. And there's a safety car. And I believe Page's Luke there has binned it into the wall. Look at that, poor Williams. Don't beat yourself up, Luke. This is a shit show of a race already. It is a tough track. And we are down to 16 drivers, 17 drivers. Everyone's serving penalties. Dark getting a new wing. Oh, I'm gonna drink some water. God damn, there's only 7 laps left. Is that how long the races usually are? This is gonna be, oh my god. Chills. Listen, to be clear, I have nothing against Chills. I can't, I have nothing against him, but it just feels like every 5 seconds I've seen his name pop up for penalties this race. Right now he's at 29, but I believe he's also served some. Godly. Meanwhile, we have another safety car that's going to take like 3 laps. And Robert in the general Discord just trying to make plans with his arch nemesis here, Steph. He's saying, hey, let's not waste our battle against each other. We both have to catch up to the Aston Martin up there in P1. Try to handle things nicely between the two of us. And Dark, though he did have to take a long pit stop there, serving penalties, getting a new wing, does come out in just P10 with no penalties. So his drive not over, although I would say I'm not sure how many more laps of racing we have. Sick Boy has climbed up to P12. Let's check on tires here. P12, and he's got fresh softs as well as Dark. Those two are just going to be hunting for these last laps. They're going to be full sending it for all positions. Will be exciting to see. We have Sky sort of in this awkward position, sandwiched between a bunch of fresh soft. He is going to be under attack. And meanwhile, Connor is the first one on the grid with fresh softs back in P7. It seems like everyone else, these medium runners, are going to take these tires to the end of the race. Oh, goodness. Chico and Chill's getting into it back there. Safety car is in this lap. That means we will have 5 laps to sort these shenanigans out. And let's hope for a nice uncontroversial restart, as you can expect in a casual online racing league. You know, what else? Look at Robert swerve to the inside on Luke. What a move. I have a feeling he's going to go for this, and he does. On the inside, can Luke battle back going into turn 2? Yes, he does. Slams his medium into the side of Robert. Robert will have to fall behind, but he is going to be going on. Meanwhile, Dark, how is he up to P6? Oh no, what did I miss? No, he got spun. Oh, to clips him from the back. Dark does manage to hold on, and he has P7. And man, Dark just nails Sector 1 through these tight turns. He's the only one consistently going for overtakes through here, and he is pulling them off. I wish I could have seen how he just got up from P10 to P6 there. Connor the Kid did manage to get back ahead of him, but he is already back in the race. Meanwhile, that is Oda out. He's binned it. And Connor Kid, he's just a tenth back from Steph. Goodness gracious, on those soft tires, he is going to look to outbrake the Williams driver into this last turn, I would expect. You do not need DRS to outbrake, and look at, man, Robert right on the back, pressuring Luke J. Gilly as well. Again, a complete mess of a race, but some really good racing. Oh, and Dark, he's going to send it up the inside on the Alfa Romeo, and he's going to pull it off, a completely clean overtake, and now the Alfa Romeo is a bit squished behind Steph. He pulls out to the side. Steph swerving to look to have a move on Robert. Robert looking to have a move on Luke J. Gilly. Connor Kidd going on the outside, and he clips Robert, spins him around, manages to come out in P4, but sends Robert to P8. Oh, and the move was so close there. I do have a feeling we'll see that one in incident reports, but it was so close to being clean. Regardless, this battle goes on, and P3, 4, 5, and 6 are having some fun. Connor Kidd, he'll look on the inside of Luke J. Gilly, but just manages to avoid him. He'll hold positions. This is going to get good. We have 4 laps left to go. Now Connor's on the side-by-side, taking the inside into these 2 double turns, and he comes out ahead. Can Dart get past the McLaren as well? He's right on his back. Luke struggling on these 10-lap mediums. Frankly, he doesn't have a prayer to keep up unless he pulls out some Checo level of defensive driving. Nearly brake checks Dark. I don't think there is contact there. And Dark going on the inside, and Luke. And that is a race ruiner for Dark. He will head into the pits. Oh my goodness. I didn't get a chance to mention our sponsor for this race's safety car, but this race is brought to you by Chaos. The state of things absent of order. Here goes Terramax on the outside of Steph into this bank turn. That's a great move by Terramax and a great race from him. This is his best finish so far by far. Meanwhile, Robert is dropped back to P6. He's hoping to catch up to Steph once again so he can resume that friendly little conversation they were having laps ago. Dark, meanwhile, coming out of the pits on mediums. He's got no more softs to speak of. He's in P13, 12 seconds behind Sick Boy. Does Robert have damage? He seemed to be missing some downforce in these turns. Oh, Connor Kidd, he's just a 10th back from Poppy. Poppy, the Tier 2 Ferrari driver in P2. A fantastic race from him. Shouldn't be a surprise to many watching. No, Terramax has lost it. Connor Kidd takes that DRS onto the pit lane straight, moves into P2, and he will hunt down Cole, and that is a fun thing to watch. Don't know how many drivers can defend Connor Kidd's pace. And there goes Chills. As I said, those penalties really racking up. He will be disqualified from the session with 2 laps left to go. Tom Taylor on the back of Robert now. Two laps left here in Jeddah until the process of attempting to score this race begins. Do not look forward to it. Robert and Tom sliding all over the place. Tom picks up another 3 seconds for good measure. He's just about a 10th back from Robert. And really, it's just for entertainment, these battles, because everything will come down to the penalties, which penalties are repealed. Oh, look at Connor. He's got the move. It's a P1 on the last turn. Is that the time to do it, though? Cole will come out of the last exit 3/10 back with that DRS. Tom, meanwhile, just a 10th back from Robert. Going to try to let him have that turn and then get a better exit, which he will. Does he have the pace to get around him? The action is nowhere near over. Robert and Tom making pace on Steph. Tom will pull ahead in front of Robert and try to get past Steph on the exit of turn 2. Now they'll go wheel to wheel. We'll hop on Robert to catch a good point of view as Tom, I believe, or no, those Robert picked up more penalties through that first sector. Meanwhile, Sick Boy going into the pits, maybe trying to set the fastest lap. He'll pick up a 5-second penalty. No mean Dark is up in P10. And perhaps most significantly, I believe if this P1 finish for Connor Kidd does hold, it may mean a P1 in the driver's standings. He is, oh gosh darn it, Robert definitely driving with some damage, and it's just like, screw it, man. I'm not pitting with 2 laps left to go. I will limp my way around this track and just try to finish this nightmare of a race. I wonder if anyone enjoyed themselves. Other than me, I had a good time. Steph's 2 tenths back from Tom Taylor with the DRS. He's making a move on the outside. He'll surely get in front of him before this turn, but look at Tom making the move down the inside. Quite the gutsy move, but it will let Steph have the DRS on the pit lane straight. Easy pass for Steph. Hopefully he can hold it. Cole, meanwhile, he's 2 tenths back from Connor. Steph does hold that P4 out of turn 2, and man, Tom Taylor on 6-lap softs does have a significant tire advantage on this last lap around the Jeddah circuit in the nighttime. Does Cole have any chance to make a last lap move? We will have to wait and see. He's 6 tenths back from right now, and thankfully there are only a few battles to keep track of, so I will be able to watch all the action as Dark has caught up to Sky. He got the pass, so there was some action that I didn't catch. Back on board with Tom Taylor. 3 tenths back from Steph. Steph is going to have to defend like a lion on these final DRS straights. Dark is sitting in P9 and he's got nowhere else to go. That is where he will finish on the track. Meanwhile, here goes Tom. No, the move isn't quite there yet. He sends Steph ahead of him, and now we'll get one of the last DRS straights. Cole, meanwhile, he can't make the move before the last turn. Can he make it coming out of it, though? There's one last DRS chance going to the line. He won't. Connor will get the race win on track. Meanwhile, Tom making the move on Steph. He does it. Tom in P4. Steph right behind him in P5, and he's not going to be able to get back. Tom will cross the line in P4. Steph in P5, and in come the penalties. Don't you love it? That was... well, 14 drivers across the line. Good for them. Ooh, look at this. Oh, I thought there was going to be one last battle across the line. Ooh. Ooh. Oh. Jesus, that'll do it. Oh boy. We have... oh, did Sick Boy join this party?
Oh dear, PJ.
Wow. Well,
honestly,
Aston Martin driver raising the trophy in Jeddah.
But
it's
not the
you.
Aston Martin driver we thought. Yeah, exactly.
It's not you, Sick Boy.
Oh dear, I have to save the full video there an hour. Honestly, that was... I'm glad that that's happened because I've expelled a full... Oh, I like how, by the way, in the post-race screen, every single driver has penalties. Apart from Luke, who DNF'd, and Chills F1, who got disqualified because of that many penalties. But at least I've used a year's worth of bad luck, PJ. All in one go. 2022 is going to be a luck-filled year for me. Because that was probably the unluckiest race I've ever seen.
I questioned towards the end of the race if anybody had a good time. Because everybody had issues. That is a disgusting amount of penalties.
Yeah, that is so unfortunate. I mean, obviously, I like how I'm interviewing you, but you're the commentator. I was just about to say, you saw more of the race than I did, so just as kind of a recap for the viewers, what were the main kind of things that happened regarding incidents?
I mean, regarding incidents, there were the normal amount of spinouts and contacts and stuff. It really just was the track limits that racked up penalties for everybody and sort of started chaos. There was a lot of good battling. It's a good track to battle. It's just a hard track to remain penalty free. And it was a complete mess. Have you seen?
Yeah.
Well, I won't comment on that.
Dark Inferno. What kind of happened?
Dark just immediately dropped the ban hammer after this race on 2 people. So.
Whoa! Wait. Who's been banned? That's major.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll check in after the race. I think we may skip penalties for this one. Interviews. Oh, Robert's saying he doesn't mind. If you want to add Robert, I never like taking care of the interview stuff, so if you want to add him to the party.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Yeah, I'll add him to the party, but first of all, I would really like to kind of run through, just as an explanation, I feel indebted to explain why I came last in that race, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Oh, hang on. There we go, we're able to. My PlayStation kind of told me off then for inviting Robert DS. It was like, no, you can't do that. But anyway, so I've just recorded the gameplay and I'm just running it through. It's a shame that you can't actually see it on my screen, but what happened is I lost my wing right at the very start, so it was a decent start. But what happened right at the very start is we had a lot of drivers coming off, and then Robert got spun around, Luke broke, but I didn't actually lose my wing because of that. It was then Chills, Carper 99 and Luke were 3 wide, and they all got kind of hit off. And that's why eventually I ended up losing my wing on the back of, I'm not actually too sure who it was. There we go. On the back of, hey, it's Luke here, on about turn 4. I ended up losing my wing. So I picked very early on, and I was about 20 seconds behind Robert DS, who was in P17. But I managed to catch up only a couple of seconds, to be honest. It wasn't too good. And then I'm just folding it now. Obviously, so I overtook a couple of people. We had a virtual safety car on lap 5, and I managed to come all the way back up to P14. So I was like, you know what, I'm in it. I'm absolutely loving it, okay? And this is what I hate about this race, PJ, is that every single time I was like, I'm back in this, okay? Literally, as I said, I'm back in this, another catastrophe would happen. So I'm on lap 6, and I'm 1.7 seconds behind Oda. And, you know, it's such a fun battle. Me and Oda and Steph, we're going 3 wide into corners. It's completely clean. It's lovely. I'm having a whale of a time. And I think, you know what? For a brief moment, I think, you know what, ladies and gentlemen, I think this is going to be a good race. But no, you know what happens is I'm not too sure if it's intentional. It must have been a massive snap of oversteer from Oda. But what happens was I must have experienced, and I'm going to drop it in the chat because of how hilarious it was. I think I experienced the biggest crash in F1 history, but I didn't DNF. I'm just watching it back now. So me and Oda were side by side going round the final DRS straight, and I was up on the inside and Oda was on the outside, and I honestly, yeah, I've noticed it. I feel for Oda, and I'm not going to report it because of that. But Oda gets a massive snap of oversteer down the straight, and he absolutely takes me out. I lose my wing in a massive shunt. Oda gets kind of taken out as well, so I feel sorry for him. And then the full course safety car comes out, so I'm like, you know what, we're back in this, ladies and gentlemen, okay? So I go all the way back up to P12, okay? I'm just behind Dark Inferno, under safety car, and this one I am confused about. It's lap 13, I believe. I'm in P12 behind Dark Inferno, and I think, you know what, I'm on these fresh mediums, it's okay. You know, I'm in P12, I'm loving it. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, obviously it must have been an accident from Taramax's end, because it was a massive shot. But Taramax comes out of nowhere, completely takes me out, and punts me under safety car. Were you able to catch that, PJ?
I don't think so. There was so much. It was so hard to keep track of action on this one. Oh dear. But Taramax takes me out, and it was probably no fault of his own. But at the time, I was pretty angry. I'm not going to lie. But under safety car, very unfortunate. Taramax takes me out. I pit for softs, and I actually managed to catch up. I am going to admit, I managed to catch up quite a bit, maybe about 4 or 5 seconds on these softs.
Maybe a little bit more, actually. Wow, I end up catching about 10 seconds, but it doesn't matter. I don't care. Safety car comes out, lap 18 again, and I'm like, I'm back in this, okay? You can see a pattern here, PJ. Every time that I say I'm back in this, another catastrophe happens. So, lap 18 now, I say I'm back in this. I'm in P12, you know, a very similar position to what I was before. I'm like, the last couple of laps, they were basically just, didn't happen. And this is the one that is really unfortunate, and it's not Darsan's fault at all. Darsan is spun around. I don't know whether it was a snap of oversteer on his end or whether he got kind of taken out, really. I'm not too sure. But Darsan spins, and the game is kind of the game's fault for not ghosting him. He's literally at a 90-degree angle to us, okay? He's parked his car, unfortunately, no fault of his own, on the racing line. He's literally on the racing line, sideways, and the car hasn't ghosted him. And I obviously go into the side of him and lose my wing, and I think I end up taking out MF Underboss as well. But that's all that happens then. That is a rundown of the race on my end. I know it took a little bit of a while, but I did. It's completely glitched out. I'm just going to close the app. However, yeah, so that was, if anybody's wondering what happened, I had bad luck after bad luck. Oda oversteered and took me out, and it was hilarious. Safety car, I was like, I'm back in this. Taramax must have had a major fault. I got taken out, unfortunately. There was a second safety car. I thought, I'm back in this. And unfortunately, Darsan, no fault of his own, got spun around right in my line, and I got taken out, unfortunately. But that's kind of what happened. It was a bit of a nightmare race for me, but I tell you what, PJ, it was fun to get back on the track, and I hope it wasn't too lonely in the commentary box.
You know, it was
all by yourself.
It was at the start, not gonna lie. Right after you left, I was like, oh, it's just me. But then after like 50 minutes of non-stop action, I sort of forgot where I was. Do we have anybody to add for interviews?
I don't know. So we've got Robert DS. So go ahead, Robert. I might as well pass it over to you. First of all, I don't even know what position you finished in, so kind of give us a rundown of kind of what happened in your race and where you finished.
I finished P6, P5, P6, I think.
Yeah.
I had a bad quali because the lap was actually really good, but what I forgot to do is I forgot to change tyres. So my lap was done on about 50% more tyres. I was only 4 tenths off pole, so I think I probably could have had that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, lap 1, I don't know who it was. Someone just drove into me, spun me around. So
yeah,
he stopped me. He's saying I was down in P17, down the last of the stage. And
yeah.
There I was just kind of hoping for a safety car, trying to keep it clean. I got 3 seconds within 3 laps, I think, and I thought everything was completely over. But I didn't get a warning then for about 20 laps. But safety car came, and I made my way back up to a position where I could really contend for the win. Tried to make a move for P3, didn't quite work, but that was fine. And the following lap, 3 wide, and didn't really work in the turn 1. I got spun around. And yeah, just came back, finished P6. It was decent damage limitation though.
Yeah, it really sounds unfortunate. It seems like a lot of people had a bit of a tough race, and to be honest, so to come back from P17, because I did see you, did you pick for a new wing on like lap 2 or something, because you were right the way down the pack?
No, I didn't. I didn't have wing damage. I was just spun around, and there was like 10 seconds off
yeah. Yeah, that is unfortunate, but I mean, to come from dead last to end up finishing P6, what a great result. I mean, it was absolute carnage, so I think even just finishing in this race is a bit of an achievement, so I'd definitely be happy with that. But I think if you finished in P6 and Connor Kid, and it was actually Cole was epic, won the race, I believe,
I think
so. And Connor Kid came second. I do think after that one that I mean, no, I'm actually telling fibs. Steph did quite a good result, so I'm not too sure whether, what I'm trying to say is you might have actually lost the lead of the championship, unfortunately.
You know what the gap is right now? Because I think it's around 4 points. It's going to be very, very close between me and Steph, and then Connor will be like 2 or 3 points behind. I think even Cole's in the fight as well.
Yeah, exactly. So
4 of us now have broken away a bit.
Yeah, exactly. So you're 5 points behind Steph. Steph finished in about P3 and you finished P6, so it's about neck and neck, to be honest.
Yeah.
But then Connor Kid is about 20 points behind you, to be fair. about 15 points, and then Cold Was Epic is about 21 points behind you. So it kind of tightens things up a little bit, but yeah, there's a good chance that you might actually retain your championship lead, which is a really good thing to see.
Yeah, I didn't expect that. I'll take it.
Yeah, definitely. I would. I mean, brilliant kind of result to turn it back round from such a terrible race. Luckily, next race isn't as much carnage as Jeddah. Just quickly checking now, but I believe the next race is...
It's in Austria. It's in
Austria, yes. Oda's right. Hopefully it'll be less carnage. There's a bit more runoff on Austria, but I mean, yeah, absolutely crazy race. I think we have to hand it over to Oda now, and I've just been talking about you a minute ago, because do you remember when we were side by side on the straight?
Side by side, Darsan was in front of us and behind us was Steph.
Yeah.
We were rapidly catching up to Darsan. I tried to box you between me and him, but my car oversteered. At the end, me and you, we lost out, but there was another incident at that time. I don't think there was another incident at the time. This incident was big enough that caused the safety car.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, when it happened, I thought that I had DNF straight away. Like I said, it was like the biggest crash I've ever seen.
Yes, I thought you would be DNF'd. I just don't understand how you didn't. It was just... I saw it in my back mirrors and I saw you spin like 20 times.
Yeah, literally. Oh dear, honestly, it was. I thought I had died, like in real life, when I witnessed that. To be honest, because it was absolutely carnage. That. But yeah, at the time, I was kind of blaming you. I was like, Oda, he literally just took me out, and then I watched the gameplay back, and you oversteered.
It was oversteer. It was oversteer.
Exactly.
And any more questions?
PJ, yeah. So
PJ, you saw the race. Why aren't you asking anything? Why letting Sick Boy, who's racing?
Sick Boy always has a lot better race insight and race-focused questions, so I let him take care of the interviews. He does a great job. How are you feeling, Oda? Was it a fun race?
Yeah, it was. Everyone was complaining in the Discord. I'm the only one who was. I am the only one who was content. I was the only one like this was a good race. I enjoyed it. Other than the incident with Sick Boy and me spinning in the banked corner, there was nothing wrong. It was just a good race from P18 to P8. There's some track limits, infringements that I will try to report and try to get them removed so I can get my 3 seconds removed.
Yes.
And maybe go up to P7. And it will be good for the drivers. That was a brilliant result. Yeah.
And, I mean, that's brilliant from the back of the grid. Sorry to interrupt, but yeah, from P18.
P18 ahead of you. Don't retire. Don't retire when you're in qualifying. You can get extra position for people who retire. That's
that is very true. Yeah,
that's a tip. And about constructors, it was a very good day for Haas. We overtook McLaren. And I told Sky that before the race we were aiming to maybe get McLaren or Aston, who were 10 points ahead of us. McLaren had a very bad day, and we probably overtook them. But Aston, race win. How are we supposed to?
Yeah,
for
exactly.
Cole was epic.
A great result from Cole.
It was an amazing result.
Not a very good result for me, though. I think I finished about P14 with fastest lap. So
I was trying to steal that off you.
Yeah, literally. Honestly, it was tough at the end, but I think it was a brilliant result.
In the end, I saw you understeering in the end, and around in lap 20, 21, I saw you understeering and lost positions to Sky and I. So I'd lost my wing, unfortunately. I hit into the back of Darsan. He had spun around, so I'd lost my wing, and I thought, you know what, I don't want to mess up anybody's race. I'm just going to kind of try and let you through. So hopefully I didn't cause any carnage. You didn't do anything. You actually helped me a little.
Well, I'm glad to hear it.
You helped me against my teammate who was ghosted. So
that's
nothing.
Perfect,
he left the session. Once again, he has some problems with his internet connection. I alhamdulillah, luckily fixed my internet.
Nice.
Inshallah, there won't be any problems in the next race. And now I've jinxed it, and there will be problems in Austria.
Yeah, probably. But honestly, I do really feel sorry for Sky. He tried to rejoin a couple of times, but he just kept
he
on
tried to
being
rejoin.
booted,
This was me in Baku.
Yeah, literally. So, heartbreak for Sky. But to be honest, was it a good thing that he didn't race in Jeddah? Because at least he didn't receive the heartbreak. It seems like people aren't really a fan of your home circuit, Oda. What do you say to the haters? And that's what Oda says, ladies.
Mic dropped, man.
Speechless.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm not too sure if Oda's still there. If he is, then he can let me know. But to be honest, I can hear myself. I hope that Oda hasn't had a heart attack or anything and is just dead now. But
oh goodness.
Even
so,
so,
let's wrap this up before we hear some sirens in the background.
yeah, literally. Take it away, PJ. Sign us out.
That was
much as possible with people. I in Grand Prix mode, I specifically trained because I knew I was starting from the back. I in Grand Prix mode started from the back and tried to fight up my way as practice for the main event.
Yeah. Well, it sounds brilliant. To be fair, I think that the practice kind of worked, but I think we kind of run out. Oh yeah.
Robert, yes.
Oh yeah, he definitely, unfortunately. But yeah, so I think we're gonna call that a wrap. PJ, gotta take it away, man.
That was what I guess we'll call a race in Saudi Arabia on Jeddah. Congratulations to whoever. Cole had a good race. We'll see if he keeps his P1. Thank you for tuning in. Same time, same place next week. Adios. I almost stopped the broadcast, Oda. Thank you very much. There we go, my man.
You guys are lucky. You're gonna have a break. I'll just be in school all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
And that's not heartbreaking.
Good luck with that, mate. So we will see everyone in 2 weeks' time then. Enjoy the break, everyone. We deserve one after this. Second and final. Adios. See ya.